What's going on, traders? I'm ready to get into the hot seat. I had to deal with a little bit of some camera issues fixed. I'm ready to go, ready to get into the action. There's so much going on right now. SPY coming down, 3 earnings reports that weren't the strongest, but now we get some jobs numbers and we start to leak. What is going on here? Will the bulls hold the wall? We'll find out right here on live trading. You guys smash the like. Let's get it started. What? It's live trading time.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, team, let's get started here. Let me bring on Ryan Faloona here, and we'll definitely take a look at all the action. Zunaid will be out today, but he'll be back here with us. Let's keep getting into the action. I see a lot of mentions in the chat. I want to quickly address one of them here. Keith is asking the question, before it gets going, join the book club. The book is not delivered yet. Hope I can catch up in the zone. So what I would say, Keith, on that, today, I will be putting out the second episode. It's an edited version of our book club. But also, if you're part of the book club, take a look at the unlisted videos that have already gone on. You'll get a better understanding. We kind of do a summary. We ask questions. Last week, we played games on it was like I gave an example, and then they gave the problem. So we were actually going through like live examples. You can go ahead and just learn from that, Keith. And then you can catch up once you get the book. We're reading about like 30 or 40 pages a week. It's nothing insane, team. It's something that you can read every single night, 5 to 10 pages and get it done. So you'll be able to catch up, Keith, and look for another email today. I'm putting out another email for those people that signed up a little later so that you guys can join us this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Enough of the book club. Time for talking about trading. I wanted to get that done. But how are we doing, my friend Ryan?
We're doing good. Actually, it's funny that you were mentioning that. I'm up to about 30 pages a night, but I'm not reading trading stuff. I'm actually reading for pleasure. I'm reading
that's probably even better.
The Splendid and the Vile about Winston Churchill, which is excellent. So
that sounds interesting. I want to hear about that sometime.
In fact, I recommend it to anyone out there that is interested in that type of stuff. It's really fascinating. One of the things I will say, though, is I really, really like this book club idea, because to me, it doesn't matter what you do read. If you're reading at night, that's really going to help you. It's going to help kind of relax you. It's going to help kind of reset, prepare you for the next day. For me, it really helps me kind of wind down at the end of the day and get that nice, restful sleep that allows me to attack the next day. So I am a firm believer that, preparing for the day the night before has been beneficial. So
100%. I would say towards that is what I always say is that, especially for someone that's so productive, right? And then here at Benzinga, you literally have to be productive. If not, you'll get run over. But with that being said, a lot of the times with that production, you need to be able to put the mind to a pause, right? This is the hardest thing that a lot of people struggle to. They have this mentality of just thinking, when really we need to sometimes come back to the present. And the present is when we're focused on exactly what's present in front of us. A part of what's talked about in the psychology of in the zone is being in the present. Focus on the opportunities that are presenting themselves versus our bias. And so I saw a comment in the chat that I think this is important to bring it in. Sydney, I hope we're not scaring you. We don't want to ever scare you. That's not what we're here for, Sydney. Like always, Benzinga's here to try to show you both sides of the coin. There's too many medias that show you only one side of the coin. And I think that this is the important part of what we do here at Benzinga, what we do for pre-market prep, and what we do here on live trading. We never want to be just one-sided, because at one-sided approach, easily you get into confirmation bias, and that's how you start trading bad. You guys see it. It happens to me even in my trading. You guys know that on a usual basis, I'm more bearish than bullish. And sometimes that causes me to chase some trades on like an SQQQ or something like that, leverage trade. I make mistakes all the time, team. We can't let our confirmation bias really get into our trading consistently, because that's easy way to start going into the wrong direction, right, in our P&L.
Yep.
So I'm never saying that I'm perfect. It happens to me, and that's what I always want to show you guys, and show you guys examples of it and catch ourselves when we do it. You guys see it sometimes. We'll make mistakes and we'll call ourselves out on it. That's the important thing too. I recommend you guys do the same. And how you do this really is a lot of times is taking a review after you're trading, how the trades actually went. Did you have some confirmation bias that came in? Did you make mistakes on the execution side? These are all things that will benefit you as a trader if you start taking the data to take the next step. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into the action. Let's take a look. The SPY is leaking there. We'll talk a little bit about what's been going on. Of course, big reports yesterday. Google, Apple, Amazon. Apple really climbing back a little bit more than I say Amazon and Google. So we'll keep our watch on Apple to see if it can get back into the green. Yesterday's closing price was $150.91. I'll definitely be watching that price today. We'll see what happens there. It's been a massive run in these tech names. You can see it also in like a SOX L. Look at the last couple of days. It's really been pushing, now getting extended. Will we start seeing some pullbacks on these tech names? Something to keep in mind. I'm going to kick it to Ryan now for a second, and I'll be right back to get us ready for the bell.
All right. Sounds good, Mitch. You know, the first thing I know we were talking about, we'll go over these small caps here in a sec. Let me flip back over to my chart tool. I'm glad that you mentioned the earnings prints yesterday. My takeaway from those earnings prints was that they, you know, all the stocks traded down, but it really wasn't that bad. And in fact, if you look at Apple, I think that really tells the story. Traded down just a couple of points and really could just kind of bounce back. I mean, it's down what? 2 points from yesterday's close. Really not anything terrible. When we take a look at where we sit on the SPY, we've broken out of this down channel that we were in all of 2022. We actually did that days ago. This recent run up took us to the 500-day moving average, which is what this light purple line is. We were immediately rejected at that moving average, and today we're rolling back over. Let's see if we roll over into this former resistance zone, which should now be support, as we have multiple closes above this zone consecutively. So I think that this entire area will prove support if we continue to come down. We did get the unemployment numbers, the non-farm payroll numbers today. Matt, as it says here right in the newsfeed in Benzinga Pro, blowout jobs report. U.S. adds 517,000 jobs in January, nearly triple the economist expectations. So the participation rate looks like this is up versus prior, and non-farm payrolls 443 versus 190 estimates. So we got good job numbers. And remember, the reason the market's selling off is because Powell has told us that he needs to see the job market soften in order to kind of peel back these rate rises. And that's not the data point that we got here today. And I believe that the market is selling off accordingly. The earnings, like you said, or like we just kind of talked about, the earnings last night, I'm interested to watch how those actually trade today. Despite the prints not being that great, the action really wasn't all that bad. I think I would have expected more selling given the strength of those reports, but we'll see what happens here today during the regular session. If I flip over to the movers tool here, I know I'm running out of time, Mitch, so I want to at least go.
Take your time. Keep rolling,
at least want to go through some of these.
Keep rolling.
First one here is going to be RSLS. This is Reshape Life Sciences, and pretty sure that we have all traded this before. I think it was lower, maybe in the teens. Or single digits when we traded it before. Excuse me, it's in the teens here today. Yesterday, the stock was $6, popped all the way up to 30 in the pre-market. We're still up 117% here today. So be careful with this one. Again, make sure that you have a plan in case you do trade this. This one might be wild, right? This might be quite volatile here today. So just make sure that you have a plan. As far as what I would like to see materialize at the open here is I'd like to see this continue to curl up. Of course, I'd like to see that buying volume expand. That's the key tenet we're looking for every day. And then I'd like to see this get back towards VWAP right about 1750. So we really needed to get back up there. And then we'll see if we can actually take out some of this consolidation area. Curl through 20 to the upside would be absolutely money. And maybe we can actually get a nice big run in this one here today. So, all right, next is going to be HSCS, and this is Heart Test Laboratory. So I guess you could kind of fit this into the biotech as well. We had a huge pop here, stocks up 81%. If we take a look at the news here, we had Heart Sciences announces further internalization of its patent portfolio. Granted Korean patent on ECG screening using artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is interesting. We have identified the past several days that AI seems to be one of those buzzwords, one of those themes. I've joked around, theme me up, Scotty, the whole 9 yards. It looks like they're trying to borrow some of those buzzwords and then put them into PRs now. So this is a Heart Test. This is obviously a company that deals with having, I think it was ECG. I always get them confused, EKG or ECG, ECG screening. So, and now they're trying to throw in artificial intelligence on top of that. We'll see where this actually goes. Now, the interesting thing is, again, it's clearly had an effect here in the pre-market. We've popped all the way up to 288. We've retraced some of that move, found some support at 225, and now we're actually holding right above that VWAP. With given some of the action and some of these smaller cap names that we've seen earlier this year, or excuse me, earlier this week, I'm definitely going to wait, right? I'm not going to try to take one of these out the gate. I have not been successful in doing that. I've been more successful in waiting for my setup and then trying to attack my setup. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here today. Next here is going to be Genetic Technologies. This also fits into the same theme. This stock goes back a long time. I've seen day traders on this stock for years. So here we are. We have another catalyst here this morning. Genetic Technology shares, easy for me to say, are trading higher after the company announced it will launch a world-first comprehensive risk assessment test, which evaluates a woman's risk of developing breast and or ovarian cancer. So nice little PR there. We are up 69%. We were as high. We got a high print here of 387. We've really retraced that move. In fact, we're $2 below that high. What was this big drop here? Did we get an offering or anything? How about that? Genetic Technology announces a $5 million registered direct offering. Yikes. So one of the things that we've seen is, I know that there's been some success in the chat here about holding some of these smaller caps overnight. And that's great if you've been able to find success. But just understand that we're in a period now where you're likely going to see some of these companies do offerings, and you can see exactly what that does for a stock. We saw this on MSGM. We're seeing this here on Gene. This will not be the last time that we see it. So just be careful. This is a primary reason why I don't like holding these stocks overnight and why I focus so much on day trading these as opposed to swinging these. But do what your risk profile allows for you. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong way. If you're making gains with the way that you're doing, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's definitely been true. Okay. Next here is Alaris Life. This is in our small cap here. Alaris Life shares are trading higher after APB acquisition announced it will acquire the company for $131 a share. We're currently at $128. So this, again, a nice theme here. It's getting bought out, but not really going to be any trade here today. Nordstrom's making a huge move here today. This looks like oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Nordstrom shares are trading higher following a Wall Street Journal report suggesting investor Ryan Cohn was building a sizable stake. Also, Gordon Haskett upgraded the stock from reduce to hold and announced a $22 price target. So first thing to note there, we're actually $5 over that price target that Gordon Haskett put on that. So keep that in mind. We did trade all the way up here. This one will be interesting to see how it trades here today. Probably going to trade on higher than average volume, but we'll see how that pans out over the regular session. Let me go through just a couple more of these here, and I'll turn it over to Mitch. How much time we got? We got a minute. I don't even have a whole lot of time. This is Processa Pharma. This trying to break out here. We did go as high as 180, tried to return there, couldn't quite get it. I want to see this cross through the VWAP on expanding volume. As always, that would kind of light this up. We'll see if we end up getting that. PXMD, I know we've traded this here before. I recognize this ticker. This is Pax Medica. We're currently holding this 360 line. I actually think this could be a slightly easier of a trade than some of these other tickers that we've talked about. Would love to see this push through the VWAP. VWAP currently at 370. And let's see if we can make a run towards 4. That would actually make for a pretty good scalp here. All right, Mitch. We got 45 seconds. What do you, oh no, Mitch, are you working out? What are you doing? Oh, Mitch is getting ready. You know what? I wish I had the drop so that I could play Eye of the Tiger right now, because Mitch is giving me all types of Eye of the Tiger vibes right here. Look at that little gut shot, keeping those hands high, keeping his face protected. Good form, Mitch. Let's go ahead and battle this market here today. We out here having some fun. We out here having some fun this morning. So let's have a great day, folks. Let me go through some of the chats here. I like that, Mitch.
Who's ready? Who's ready?
Can't unsee it, says Keith. You can't unsee it.
The rope of dope, baby.
Good stuff.
All right, let's get to this market, team. I'm not going to be definitely trying to overreact at the open. Trying to look for also maybe to see what happens, not trying to always react quickly out the gates. Don't blow out a Hemi. A Hemi. Nah, man, we got this, Jay. Come on. Been working hard, baby.
Mitch
I'm trying
wants
to get back.
All of the smoke today.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get back. I've been working myself back into shape for an adult league, baseball league. I'm trying to show you guys.
Oh, man.
Hit that plus 90 fastball.
Mitch, oh my God. If I was ever fortunate enough to watch you throw a ball 90 plus miles an hour, I would be impressed. That is awesome.
Get ready, team. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I also want to see you run the bases, right? I also want to see you outrun somebody trying to throw you out stealing second. That would be fun as well. You got more speed than I could ever dream of.
Put it this way. I only got thrown out once ever in baseball. And that was when I hurt my back running the second base. I just couldn't make it there. All right, let's get to the action. Now it's time to trade, baby. Let's go. What are we getting? SPY coming down a little bit, but we're going to get that green effect right now at the open. Will the buy the dippers drive it back through the pre-market levels? That's another thing to keep in watch. A big level for me is yesterday's closing price, right? 416.78. If we can get back there, that shows us the bulls still have control, bought the dip, and we're right back up, right? What gets us a little concerned? Crashes through the 400. That's the real concerning area. I'm looking for green to red moves, especially in like oil names. Oil names I feel like are really starting to show some weakness. I'm going to be looking to see if some of these names start to crack. Chevron looked weak, really. Oxy, those types of stocks, I think they can really start breaking down. Even a strong stock like a Valero, it's been so strong, right? Well, look how it's starting to pull back, right? In the last couple of days, it could start to break. We'll see what happens. Take a look at XLE, starting to get a little bit of a push back. Of course, I did see the dollar spike a little bit. Keep that in mind. That did get a little bit of a spike, but we'll look to see if XLE does kind of that green to red move. ExxonMobil starting to push a little bit up. We'll look to see if it goes back into the red. I'll look for like a 113 push, 112, 113, and then a turnaround.
AI popping here, the ticker AI, ticker AI popping here. This is C3 AI. We've talked a lot about this. This is that AI theme that we talked about being hot. This clearly still having an effect here. Take a look at some of these other stocks. Gene potential move over 189. I'm sorry, hang on one sec, Mitch. I'll be right.
You're good, man. No worries. Take what you got to do. I got this, team. All right, focusing in. Someone talking about ELF. That one had good earnings yesterday. So it is pushing up right out the gates here. That doesn't look like a bad move there. ELF, Elf Beauty. Will it pull back? This a floating island? Oh, I think it is kind of a floating island play.
Is.
My boy came back for that one.
Sure is.
ELF. Maybe you should talk about a little bit later today. I want you to focus on your trading, Ryan, but I would love for you to explain how would you look at ELF and how would you attack that on a regular basis. We'll take a look at that after 10 a.m. You guys stick around for that conversation, especially floating islands. one of Ryan's favorite plays.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go through it. It's floating out in an excellent swing formation. We'll break that down like a fraction here shortly. Definitely want to call out Gene, right? Because Gene moved through that 189 spot that we were flagging here in the pre-market. So despite the offering, we are seeing some movement here. I'm not in this. I didn't take this. I walked away. Unfortunately, was not prepared for it. So no trade for me yet. However, a move through 189 here, pretty good. We actually went as high as 213. So a great little scalp there on that expanding volume. Happened to, just obviously a couple minutes after the open here. Let's see if we actually get another setup here. Interesting thing about Gene is that now we are in this gap, and really 225, I think, probably closes this. So Gene, nice little move here. I wouldn't chase this move. But nice little move here if you were on top of it from the list here this morning. Jay Wild calling out Lucy. Let's take a look. Why is Lucy not on my relative volume?
Lucy, I'm home. Looking at it right now, I see pre-market resistance 237, pre-market support around the 208s. Looking for a pullback towards the VWAP there. That would be below. VWAP is 230s. I would look for a below the 225 pullback here, and then a rip back towards the 250s. I'll look to see if we get that in Lucy.
Yeah, and let's see if we actually use this 242 level as support. So this was clearly resistance. We actually just popped through that on some pretty decent volume. Now that we're coming back in, let's see if we find support at that level, or maybe we come back through it and find support at VWAP, which is what Mitch is looking for here.
XOM went to 112.50s, now starting to pull back there. I'm still trying to be patient on that oil short. Don't want to run to it. Want to give it some chance to really show that it really is going to break. One way that I could do this now, if I wanted to run towards the daily action, would be to get drip here. But I'm going to wait for it to start showing me turnarounds on drip and breakdowns on XOM. So it's okay to stay green right now. One of the things that I've been trying to do more and more is not be so ready at the open. I've been seeing a lot of action that's more like institutional selling to retail, and then they take control in the afternoon.
Meta going higher here.
Chevron pushing strong. So oil green from the open. We'll see what happens there. Gilead had earnings today. That one's starting to push a little bit. If you guys want to take a look at some healthcare names, that is in the green right now. 85s on pullback. Doesn't seem too bad. Pre-market support was around that 84.50. You wicked through there right out the gates. Now starting to recover on Gilead. Let's look at Apple and the big boys, right? Apple starting to make the first move up here. So keep that in mind. We'll see what happens there. And we'll see if these turn around. I'm really trying to avoid Google and Amazon and those trades today, just because I feel like they're going to be a lot of kind of mixed trading there. So I'm looking for them to kind of give me more signs of the markets than actually going for these.
Nice bounce here, right? We got a bounce in the S&P futures, bounce in Apple, bounce in Meta, Tesla at pre-market highs here. So we are moving here. Looks like we are trying to bounce right back here.
All right, so let's start focusing in a little bit more on this XOM trade. And so what I mean by like the pop back, so a lot of times we'll get a pop back towards prior resistance, right? See around this 112.63 area, 113 area, we acted as resistance on the second Thursday. There was 112.57 up there. Now we'll look for it to come towards wick towards 113. I don't even want to see a close up there, and then start turning back around. If it does do that, then I can look for the breakdown. Right now, we'll see what happens if it even rejects that 113 breakup.
Yeah, Walter, you're spot on here. SPY definitely looking to fill that gap. At least it sure is trying, at least from that move down here. I'm watching the ES here. SPY doing pretty well so far as well. See if we can trade back up to that 415 level, 3 points away.
All right. All right, so no Benzinga live. Okay.
SOXS coming in here a little bit. I actually wouldn't, these would not be a bad play. I actually think you're going to get more potential profit or movement, that is, in SOXS than SQQQ if you go in that direction. We'll see how that plays out here. I'd actually like to see this bounce kind of stall out before taking one of these positions.
You start bringing in back my 5-day price trend with the market. Majority of these are in the red right now. Something
Okay.
always to keep in mind, right? Things that have been strong are in the red right now. We'll see if they turn back towards the green side. One that is turning back, at least AOS, PNR. I'm just looking through different stocks in the S&P 500. ODFL had been
Meta
really
super
strong.
Bitcoin also bouncing back. So Bitcoin sold off here a little bit this morning. That seems to be bouncing back. In fact, let me check on Mara and Riot. I haven't looked at them at all this morning. Okay. They're still down 5% here. I wonder if this move here. Oh, no, they're bouncing too. Okay, they're bouncing too. So the move's not delayed. Let's check out Riot as well. Gene, by the way, right back under that VWAP. We'll see if Gene can actually push and try to take off here. Keep an eye on Gene. We really want to see that volume expand here on Gene.
Yesterday,
Riot actually looking pretty good here today. Riot looking like it might try to take out that pre-market high, maybe go on a little bit of a move here if we're able to do that. Riot 738. I'm actually going to watch this one for a bit here with this move in Bitcoin. Bitcoin continuing to push highs. Meta as well. Yeah, Jay Rice, I'm saying the same thing. Meta super strong here today. In fact, floating island on Meta, we can go over that one in a little bit as well. Tesla also really strong here, and again, Apple really strong too. Apple or Amazon lagging a little bit behind, but still trying to participate in this market bounce.
Yep, it's bouncing all right. Yesterday, I almost got short Tesla at 195. I was about to go to lunch, and I was like, "Man, I just don't want to take a short and go on lunch." But
yeah, that Mitch, that although it would have worked, that seems like shaky discipline there. Take
yeah,
a
it
short
is.
and then walk away for lunch. I don't know.
It's hard. You know how many times I see that, Ryan, where I come back and I'm like, "Damn, 2 p.m." And I tell Joel, I'm like, "Damn, I can't take lunch, Joel. I take lunch, the market goes down, man."
Seeing some Tesla calls come in here. Actually seen some flow since the market opened here.
Nice.
More Tesla calls here. Looking at the February 3rd. So those are the ones that expire here today. Also looking at the ones that expire next week. So Feb 10, Feb 3rd, and Feb 17 expiries here on Tesla. Looks like they're sweeping those up across the board. Tesla continuing to push those highs.
All right. So if you're thinking about that, will they climb the wall on Ford, right? Ford earnings coming in here, hitting it. Will they climb the wall? Of course, the earnings weren't the best. They didn't really look like good outlook, but here you guys see it. It's starting to at least bottom out around the 1280 levels. We'll look to see if it comes back through 13. And if Tesla stays strong, maybe you get that move. GM also is in the green. That's one thing to note. So Tesla and GM are in the green. Ford in the red will start making its way back.
So I'm going to talk about Ford here real quick because we actually just had this discussion on the happy hour show last night with the Benzinga Pro members. One of those members actually worked in the automotive industry, lives in Michigan, and still follows all of that news. And one of the trade thesis that he gave was a long on Ford. Now, obviously, the earnings here caused this to sell off. He outlined his strategy, and he says that a lot of the times what he's been doing is adding around 11, adding stock, and then selling covered calls against it. And that strategy has worked pretty well for him. You can see on this chart here, 11 very, very strong support. So what I would do here is if you are interested in Ford, and remember, as far as EV goes, I am still in the camp that I believe Ford is going to be your EV leader 10, 15 years down the road. We can discuss that at another time, but I still firmly believe that. So if Ford comes into this 11 level, I think it would make a pretty good potential entry here for a swing trade. Again, strategy for this member was to buy more stock and then sell covered calls against it.
All right, I got my starter short on XOM. We'll see if that kind of keeps holding here. It went for that rejection of that 113. So I'm kind of just following my objective plan before the market opened, right? So there's a rejection of that 113, a wick there, and starting to come back down. Where would I get to the point where I get out? 113.35. So it's short risk right now, especially with my starter entry. We'll see what happens. If it does get above there, I can get out and look for it to turn back around. Right now, I think it can just reject this 113 level and start coming right back towards the lows.
Gene, right back down to that key level, 189, actually beneath it now. This is why we were saying we wanted to wait. Definitely don't chase. That proved to work again here. We'll see if Gene can actually get gearing up again. What I want to see more than just a cross through this level would be the corresponding increase in volume. If you take a look at this volume stick, look what happened the last time. We started to push up here, got that big volume. That gave us the trade. That's what we're looking for here again on Gene. Just because we crossed through 189 doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a tradable pop here.
All right, another small ad. There's a small ad short there on XOM at 113.02s. Just trying to keep it small right now. You guys know how I've been attracting and trying to size into positions because timing right now has just been hard.
Martin says buy dippers. I think you meant dip buyers, but
buy dippers.
You're right. It's definitely getting bought.
Look at Ford. Remember, I just talked about this. Would it climb back towards 13 and start climbing the wall of worry? Well, clearly seeing that buy the dippers coming in here in Ford. Let's see if it comes back up through the 1320 open. Open was 1315, so that's where you want to see kind of get back through. We'll see if it gets through there. I feel like some buy the dippers definitely jumped in off those 1280s, looking to get it back towards 13. Some people probably taking some profit there. Now let's see if it can actually get the motor moving. Tesla is one you want to see continue higher. If it just goes through 200, yeah, Ford can just work its way back. GM getting higher too. That's why I pointed the relationships there, and you're seeing those higher. I thought Ford could do a little bit of a turnaround entry.
Walter, awesome stuff here. Walter, oh, there we go. Book just got very thin, looking for a big move off the news here. If you can go into some more context about what you're seeing there, that'd be awesome, but good stuff.
10 a.m. numbers are very important too. I think we're going to get some decent action off of that, so just stay tuned, team.
Apple at highs. Big Mama being strong again.
All right, looking around, ready for this news. Services PMIs coming in here. So you got U.S. service PMIs for January. We had 46.8 versus 46.6 expected, 44.7 prior. So if you're seeing action right now, that might be off of that. Just want to keep that in mind, right? I am adding into this XOM. I keep adding into it. We'll see if it pushes past that 113.35. But I've been starting to get my entries. I have about 3 of them so far. I'm going to keep working towards about 5 here. We'll see if it works up there. Still can get to 2 more entries. Average for me, 112.94 right now. We'll look to see if we start breaking down. U.S. services PMI coming in.
Nice shout here, Elrod saying RSLS. Now this is the 3rd halt. So let's see what we get here. This is the 3rd halt of the morning. It is an upside halt. Let's see if we open up, move higher, and then see if we reverse. So RSLS halted here. Going to watch this. By the way, Riot kind of slowed down. Did take out, oh no, actually slowed down at this was the after hours high yesterday. Sorry, looking at that on another chart here.
All right, now if I can break down through 112.75s, I'll start adding through there and looking for the takedown. We'll see if we get it. Just focusing in, just keeping my close eye on my trade. You guys always focus on yours. We'll see what happens. Overall sector analysis, energy still leading towards the upside. And consumer cyclical also there, technology right behind that. So you are getting to buy the dippers, I feel like, are here. Let's see if they continue driving it higher. And be careful, 945 right now, right? We'll see what happens. XOM starting to push here for me.
Apple and Tesla flow seem to be the strongest from the options. Boy, Bitcoin at high again. I still want to watch RSLS here. Boy, I don't want to screw that up.
All right. So for XOM, I'm starting to see a rejection of 113.35. I'm setting a stop limit order at 113.50s with a limit towards 113.55. We'll see what happens there. I want to stop watching this so I can focus on some other trades. I want to be able to catch multiple trades today, not just focus on one. If it works, it works. If not, I'll just keep looking.
Good shout here, Carmen. RSLS, good memory too. RSLS, yes, this was a reverse split 1 to 50. That was December 23rd. So that was almost, well, not quite 2 months ago, about a month and a half ago.
Buy the dipper's still there, team. Still there. Apple back up, right? 151.84s. You're back through yesterday's close. I talked about before the open, right?
I'm actually not. I'm gonna take RSLS off the screen. I do want to see what happens when it's open. Go ahead and shout it when it opens here. I want to see what's going on. But Riot, this looking like this has a move. Someone else was saying Coin had a nice move here this morning. That wouldn't shock me either.
Lucy came back towards that 237.
Oh, nice
right now.
move from Coin here off the bottom. Wow.
Yeah. By the dippers, man.
Yep. Well, I mean, you got the same move with Bitcoin, so it makes a lot of sense here. Meta still at highs, Apple at highs, Tesla at highs.
Shop really strong on Shop's chart today. Pullback, really strong out the gates.
Yeah, Walter, appreciate you clarifying this. So, Ryan, when I said book thin, what is going on with my browser, man? This is crazy. When I said book thin meant the E-minis, liquidity had thinned out prior to the PMI. Okay.
All right, looking around, saw the rejection there on XOM from the 113.35 range there. We'll look to see if we get above that. Wanted to get back down through 112.50s. That's really when it's going to start looking like it's going to break down. If not, I'll get out of the trade here. Don't want to battle with oil because I feel like when it comes in my favor, it's going to be a wipeout. And so with that being said, as bigger reward, got to keep the risk tight. Can get stopped out multiple times, even if I have to. But I'm going to keep trying to like this piece in here. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go around. Let's take a look at the consumer cyclical high beta names doing well. Department stores, right? That JWN move. Did you see that, Ryan? What a freaking disaster. How do you pump a stock 30, 40% by just calling the Wall Street Journal? I'll just ask Ryan Cohen. That's how you do it.
I was going to say, don't ask this Ryan. Ask the other Ryan because I don't have any idea how that works. By the way, RSLS open, rehalted. So opened higher. This is the fourth halt now. Yet another upside halt. Current price, 21.45. This thing risky. Too risky for me, it seems. Karma was saying news on RSLS withdrawing a stock offering. Yep, Meta, definitely a beast here. Definitely a beast, Jay. Trappy.
It's a trap.
Do we get a trap today?
That's a trap.
I love it. Do we actually reverse? We shall see.
All right, we'll see what else is going on there. Kathy loading on NNDM. She says it could be the next AMD. Kathy says a lot of things, right? Kathy said also that Bitcoin was going to 1 million. I think that's what Kathy said.
500K. And actually, they asked her about that on CNBC earlier this week. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before. And she says she still thinks that's possible, mind you.
All right, just got another fill there on XOM. I did a stop fill on that one off of 112.75. So I almost have all order in. Now we're back towards 112.60. We're looking good, team. Average for me, 112.89. That's why I like sizing in. Some people say that sizing in is the wrong way to approach things. Realize a lot of the times what it's all going to be about is how do you hold to your risk assessment. That's going to be more important a lot of times of how you enter. Because if your risk assessment is okay and you're able to keep that in check, I think that's always what matters first in trading. Then we worry about the reward side, right?
Protect your capital always should be the first rule. Wally, you were asking about PXMD. So got a big pull here. Did I remove it, man?
No,
I'll tell you what, Mitch, my browser on StreamYard is so laggy and bad right now. I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry, I'll put it up. I'll control your charts. No worries.
Yeah, is this happening to you or is it just me?
It's weird because I can see that you're struggling with it, but at least it's popping up here really quickly.
Yeah, so. I don't. Maybe it's something on my browser. Anyway, PXMD here, nice little curl here. We did break out of this consolidation area, right? This sideways channel. We did break this high, but really just got yanked right away. Definitely finding some resistance here at 4. Really, the next thing here would be, can we actually find a tradable spot to the upside? We're beneath VWAP. Let's see where this actually settles out. You did notice that we did get the expanding volume on the next up move, so maybe we can get that a little bit closer to one of these key levels, which would give us an opportunity to trade it. We shall see.
One of the trades for the beginning of the year that I mentioned that I messed up on pure execution was my Duke trade. Utilities coming down fast right now, back towards that 100. This was the level that I was looking for it to really start breaking down and start seeing the crackdown. So if you're seeing XLU down big, well, there you guys see it. Looks like utilities finally letting go of that run. Real estate down big, defensive's down big, industrial's down, energy starting to pull back a little bit, consumer cyclical pulling back a little bit. Let's look at the 5 minute. Saw a nice little push. Now we're getting some pullbacks. We'll look to see there what happens with Tesla. Can it stay strong? Amazon, can it stay strong? It seems like right now we have a strong market, but will we see a 945 turnaround high on the SPY right now, 945, 414.43? Can we get back through there? Keep an eye on it. Gene moving. I can see Bitcoin getting to 500K too someday. I agree.
Yeah. I mean,
someday.
Here's the thing that I've noticed. Bitcoin, first of all, I don't think it's going anywhere. Second of all, I don't think it's going to trade with some of these gigantic outsized moves that we've been accustomed to seeing over the past several years. I think this might tighten up a little bit. So when you talk about a move or a potential move from 23K to 100K even, forget 500K for a sec, we're talking about something that's likely going to take place over a longer period of time. I know we've all gotten accustomed to going to sleep and having Bitcoin be 10K, the next day waking up, have it be 15K or whatever those numbers are. I think those days might be past, although I don't really think it's going anywhere. Personally.
Could have got another ad there on XOM. I kind of missed it when it got towards 113. I wanted to get back to break even entry or slightly above an ad. Wasn't able to get that last ad, so I'm going to stick with the 4 that I have right now. Look to see if I get that move now. Now, at least from my perspective, always my perspective, I don't want to see XOM back above 113. I want it to start cracking back. That would be the green to red, right? That's what I was looking for. Let's see if we get it. Objective mentality. And whichever way it goes, we'll close it if we need to and take profits, right? Now, Sabrina mentioned in the morning, she talked about, what about JPM? Would that get a lift there? Sabrina, not a bad looking chart, right? You see JPM on the daily. It's recovered. It has nice support around 138. Trying to get back through that 140 area. That's going to be key today for the bulls. If it can get through that 140 and hold, it'll be looking good on JPM.
And what do you know on Gene? Nice little move here again, this time on a curl with expanding volume. So the key takeaway here when you're watching some of these stocks, especially on Gene, look at this is when we want to trade it. When we get this expanding volume, this is when we want to take trades. Because this moving right through this 207, this would have given you a trade that's when as high as 237. So that would have given you a nice little 30-cent trade here. But timing the buys, timing the entry with the expanding volume, and then riding that momentum wave, that's what we're trying to do here on some of these scalps. Gene giving us multiple opportunities here today.
All right, XOM back towards 113. Got to be careful here because it is holding the VWAP for the VWAP push, right? Could push right back through those levels. Got to stay smart now.
So balloon was above my house. Are you really? Like, do you have pictures? That's crazy. These Chinese spy balloons that I've been seeing. I mean, just absolutely crazy. Can't believe we're living in a time where that is allowed. But it is.
What? I'm confused now.
So there have been balloons, multiple balloons sighted above Canada and the United States, and the hypothesis is that they're Chinese spy balloons. Can't speak to how accurate that is, but I just saw reports of that yesterday. UAV saying a balloon was above my house. Maybe he's got a UAV in his handle. He's got a drone avatar there. So we'll see. In any case.
Getting a spike.
I thought it was just one too.
XOM, be careful there. At least for myself, I'll let you guys know if I stop out.
Kaylee saying James Bond kind of stuff. Kaylee, if it was James Bond, he would have jumped out of an airplane, pulled out his knife, sliced the balloon on the way down, and then parachuted safely to Earth to go find some, extracurriculaar activity. That'd be fun to see.
I don't know about all that. The spy balloons, man.
Yeah, why use a satellite when you have a balloon lull? Oh, it's a good point.
I guess the air balloon rides aren't getting used as much anymore, and so they figured out another way to use them.
Probably shouldn't be laughing about that, but nonetheless. By the way, RSLS, good shout here earlier in the chat, did open up now downside halt. So the fifth halt today, downside halt, current price 18.45. Glad I'm not playing that.
All right. We'll see if I do get to stop out in XOM. We came right back to the levels. We could just pop through above that, or we could reject it. It's just kind of sideways right now. And how's the market doing? Sideways also. It tried to come back through that 945 high and rejected it again. So stair stepping up. We'll see if we get elevator moves down, right? Stair stepping up though. Balloons are more on that North Korean budget. Come on, Ryan. You should know that. It's more on that North Korean budget. Come on.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Quantum says it's North Korean. It's not the China balloons.
Oh,
Man.
I don't actually. Carmen was saying China said it's their balloon.
China said it was their balloon.
I did
Good
not.
Lord.
I did not do a bunch of due diligence on this story. I kind of saw the headline, laughed about it a little bit, and then did something else. So I am not a source of knowing what's going on. I would yield to somebody else.
Yield.
I yield back, Mitch.
Yield back. All right. Put the pressure on me, they say. All right, we'll take a look here.
Pipes, Mitch.
Oh, man. Is Party City a part of the China balloons? Controversy. Did they buy Party City? Take all their helium? Has anyone been on those hot air balloons? Let me know in the chat.
I haven't.
I've thought about it, but I've always been a little creeped out. And I saw that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, there's a movie. I think it's called Fall. Yeah, Fall the movie. Check out that one, guys. I've never, and this is going to be almost a weird statement. I've never sweated during a movie. You watch Fall and tell me you don't sweat.
I don't need that. I don't think I need that, Mitch. I'll be honest.
Fall the movie. Look it up.
Frederick, how about this? Got married on a hot air balloon. Frederick, that's actually pretty cool.
There you go, man.
That's pretty sweet. Okay, market dipping here. It looks like it's the ISM number. ISM non-manufacturing PMI for January 55.2 versus the 50 estimate. Non-manufacturing unemployment 50 versus 49.8.
Got that last ad there in XOM. I'll take my last little shot there. Now full position, 112.90s. Risk off 113.35s. We'll see what happens.
U.S. to postpone Blinken's visit to China over its spy balloon. Mitch, we weren't kidding. I mean, we weren't joking. These are the headlines. These are the headlines.
You can't make this shit up. I'll just say it like that. You can't make this shit up.
Oliver says, getting married in a hot air balloon. I definitely sweat. Oliver, I'm with you. I'd be nervous too. Lisa Lee saying, come out to Temecula wine country for hot air balloon rides. Now that I bet is awesome. Being able to go over those vineyards in a hot air balloon. I bet that's spectacular. Lisa, I'm guessing you've gone on those. Please confirm the spectacular level of that trip.
Yeah, can't make it up. Can't make it up.
You can't make this up, mate. You got that right, Hoddle. I cannot make this up.
Smash the like if you guys are enjoying today's action and enjoying the fun. The Astronauts, awesome movie. Yes, Carmen, I've seen that one too. That was a good one. That was about hot air balloons and getting all the way up there towards like the atmosphere and the freeze. Did you see that one, Ryan?
Which one?
Some good ones. The Astronaut.
No,
Carmen
never saw that one
there too. But Fall, holy crap, man. Watch that one, team. You'll thank me later, or maybe you won't. Actually,
I was gonna say I don't know if they'll be thanking me. That's for sure. By the way, Meta slowing down here. So pretty much everything that I guess Apple's still at the highs. Tesla slowing down. Meta reversed a little bit here. Yeah. Bitcoin also reversed a little bit here. Amazon's bounce looks like it might be done. Let's see what happens. I think the big thing for me is, do we actually continue to roll over here on the broader market and then test some of those intraday lows? That's what I want to watch. In fact, I'm going to bring up a SPY chart temporarily.
The thing that's hurting me in oil today is we're getting a 9, like a spike here in the futures. So we got to be careful there on my XOM trade. It could bounce up today. Just going to keep it to the objective levels that I have. But crude up there to 76.91. All right. Once married, you can always descend with a parachute.
I thought that was pretty funny too.
JPM does look strong. Sabrina, we'll see what happens on that one. 945, 946 kind of turnaround there for the SPY. We'll look to see if it gets back through those levels. XOM might stop me out here. It'll still be a small stop out. Just always keep it in check, right? I think one thing you guys noticing me is going into these positions, and I've been doing it in fifths. It's just helping me get through a lot of some of the volatility. And sometimes I will get stopped out. That's okay. I think that the key here is always understanding our risk assessment, having some objective levels, and understanding that sometimes our timing is never going to be perfect. That's what I try to avoid, not trying to be perfect on my timing. Look to see if I get a close above here. 50s definitely is we're going to get this out, but we're right near it on XOM. SPY, big spike right back towards the upside. Watch out to see if they take it up to the upside and continue to push.
Ooh, some big blocks of Amazon calls there.
I think that's what knocked probably the SPY up a little bit even.
Yeah, SPY definitely bounced a little bit there. Let's see if we can keep going here. Amazon's still moving towards the lows, but people buying calls into that move.
Definitely getting the spike here in XOM, about to get out. Just going to see if it comes right back below the 50s. If not, I'll get out. Still 3-minute candle, still hasn't closed, so I'm just trying to hold to that 3-minute candle. But we could get a big wick here. That's why I'm hands just on the trigger. Meta pulling back towards the VWAP. If you guys are looking for a VWAP style move, that one is pulling back. Hands on the trigger. XOM just pulling back now towards 39. Let's see if it reloads at 40 and takes out 50. If it does do that, I'll just get out. SPY right back below the VWAP, 413, being in a vital spot where we saw kind of the buyers step in last time. We'll look to see if it breaks through the 412.50s.
My trading buddy just came to say hi. Now he's going to leave. Licked himself and left. He doesn't like he didn't like anything he saw here, so he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, he was like, this market's too much for me.
He's a smart cat.
Yeah, he's a smart cat, right? Hands on the trigger, about to get out of this trade on XOM.
I don't even see anything great on this relative volume scanner either. Things sure seems like things are drying up here.
Out of XOM there. At the out was at 59.
RSLS open right now, continuing to sell off here, down to $16 on RSLS, $16.30. We'll see if this actually doesn't look like it's going to halt yet.
Stopped out in XOM. I tried the green, the red. It got close. It went down below the VWAP. Didn't want to break back down. It happens, team. Small loss, controlled loss, and that's what matters. Let's keep trading. Let's keep working. SPY looking like it wants to reject here. What we're going to look for really is a quick move to the downside. If that does happen, we start looking at some other trades. Right now, the SPY has been trying to bounce there. JPM staying strong. We'll see what happens in some of the bigger names like Tesla.
BBAI, that got that expanding volume that we were talking about, Jay. Let me throw my charts up here. Jay, this is exactly the move, right? So it looks like we just halted to the downside. Did I get that right? Or is this, my candles all screwed up? Let me see. No, it looks like it was just a big pull there. But still, this move here, this next leg up on this move through what, 4? It looks like, no, not quite 4. 385, 390. This move up here on the expanding volume, giving the option there. Pulling back now, knifed all the way back down to the VWAP. Let's see if this sets up again.
Happens all the time,
right back down to the VWAP, yep.
We'll see what happens here, if we can get the bounce or not. XOM did reject after it got back up there. It's right back now towards 113.30s. So it's kind of one of those things where it just happens, team. It could have been, it was a little early to the trade, and sometimes that's going to happen. That's why I've been trying to go into it in a sizing mentality and to easy, controlled loss. That's what matters right now. I think in this market, you got to be able to be controlled on both sides, whether that be for big runners, or that be for losers, right? We got to be able to control the losses and take some gains on the runners.
Andy, nice to see you here this morning, my man. Happy Friday. Looking for a 24 rejection on AI. We're actually holding above this 2380 level. I see what you're saying. To me, this compression, this sideways trading here, we're going to break out of this at some point. I don't think we stay in here all day. Question is going to be, do we break out to the upside? That would be 2445, or do we break down? That'd be 2380. Would like to know what you folks are doing. Yeah, and Carmen, I saw this morning. EDBL, they did an offering as well. So remember, some of these things that if you end up holding them overnight, you can expose yourself to some of that headline risk, especially for an offering.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be careful with that headline risk there. JPM trying to get back above the 140s. We've talked about that level important for it today. It literally stopped right above that. So we'll look to see if it comes back for those levels. Oxy is in the
RSL
green
is
there.
trying to move up now. And that would be a move off the VWAP of 1670. RSL is pushing 18 now, looking to move higher here. That's going to be a no trade for me, folks. I'm going to stay away from that. I'm just going to end up hurting myself here today if I try to play that.
Just going to be patient for my next trade.
Here's
Just
AI
wait for a
on the
little bit.
breakout. Here's AI on that breakout above 2445. So here we go. Broke out of that sideways channel here. Say, let's see where this could potentially go. Let me take a look here at this daily chart. Man, it's just a huge move. I know I was saying tough to trade this one because it's extended, but it just keeps going. The question is, where does it end? Where does it end? Next spot I have is 2650 on AI. 2650 going to be your next spot. 2650 and then 2775. Your next spots on AI.
Catching up with the chat. What are you guys taking a look at? Throw it up in the chat. I got some time for you guys to run through some. So if you guys have anything, you throw it up. We'll see what I get into. Only one trade on the day. Took some time. Got to stop out. We'll get right back in this. Get to the green. Just got to focus. Let the plays work out a little bit here, especially with the SPY just kind of just trickling here at the VWAP.
Yeah,
are we going to get VWAP up or are we going to get it pulled down?
I was going to say, it feels like there's the next move here coming. Let's see if it's up or down. SPY at an inflection point for sure.
Remember that forward reversal style that we were looking at? Well, look at how it's trading now, right here. We talked about it around the 80s, right? Would it come back through 13 and then back through the opening price 13.15. It already did that, came up there to 13.30s. That was already a nice little move there and forward. I'm sure some people captured that move. Tesla fighting up here in the 195s. Do I short the 195s? Ryan, I'm fighting myself here. I'm probably about the only guy that probably made money on Tesla shorting this week. I don't know if I ruined it.
RSLS halted to the upside again. Well, Mitch, I mean, this would be it, right?
Fighting myself, but 195 would be the spot. Yeah, because it's look at yesterday's price action. Look how we went right to that 195 area. Couldn't get over it yesterday. That's where we started to leak down, but that's also where we can start to ramp up today. So it's kind of tough. Like always, those types of trades, you're fighting the tape. Fighting the tape is very difficult. I always say, if you do like those type of style trades, you got to stay so small and learn how to add to the winner, which is hard to do, really.
MST saying so much for that rejection. Yeah, exactly. We broke out of that, man.
Exactly.
We didn't reject. We actually broke out and kept moving. So let's see. Market is trying to bounce here. We'll see if that ends up materializing. It's trying.
It's trying for sure.
It's trying.
That's why I'm not stepping in front of it, team. There's sometimes where you don't want to step in front. You want to see elevator moves down on the market. At least that's what I'm looking for to really give me more of a confidence. Oh, Trader Chris said I caught a short on Tesla in the afternoon yesterday. Hey, Chris, you and me both, man. At least being able to get some Tesla short. There's not many people making money in it right now, short side. I'll tell you that. Gotta be quick. Gotta be quick. Can you trade futures? One thing that I'm starting to learn more about. I asked Joel to try to teach me a little bit more on the futures. I'm working on that, team. I'm working on it. want to be able to hedge more of my positions overnight with the future. If just in case, especially if we're getting like some type of like catalyst that comes in or something, I want to be able to be like, okay, how do I hedge here and do it the right way?
Glad you didn't short Tesla right up at that resistance point. Let's see if it pops through here.
And that's why that's what wait for the rejection, Jerry, at least from my eyes. I don't want to jump the boat.
Technicals are screaming SQQQ. Jerry, give us some more than that. Give us some more context. What are you seeing? Be specific.
That helps us, right? And helps the team.
Helps everybody. Helps the group. Forget us.
Mm-hmm. SPY pushing back there towards the high. DPM went right back through that 140. So I know Sabrina's like, yeah, let's go. Wish the best for you, Sabrina, and wish the best for everyone out there. Not just for you guys to stay in the green, but you guys always focusing on execution and sticking to that process.
So speaking of execution, this is a discussion we also had last night in the happy hour session regarding actual just risk management. Walter saying, lol, WTF does Meta usually move this much? Never look at it. No, it doesn't. It is a huge company with a 100%. Gigantic move. And the key takeaway here is that when you see moves in companies this big, you have to trade around that. We had a gentleman that in our happy hour that was long Meta and said, just based on the ferociousness of this move, I have to take it off the table. I can rebuy it some other time if I need to, but I have to close these for gains. We normally don't see moves this big. Got more of that move here today. So Meta, an absolute powerhouse recently, is a company and stock that I absolutely hate. But the reality is it's strong right now. And it had a nice move here after earnings.
All right, so you saw those calls on Amazon, and Amazon's coming back towards the VWAP here. Do we want to play the VWAP bounce here? That's what I'm thinking a little bit. SPY coming back towards the highs. Seems like the SPY is really strong. There's a couple of names near the VWAP here. We'll see if we can continue going higher. We got back towards 114.50s. Now 114.60s getting a click there. We'll see if we get above that.
Great question here. Conga saying, where do you find the happy hour? Conga, that is for Benzinga Pro subscribers only. So step one is subscribing to Benzinga Pro in some way, shape, or form. You will find it on the bottom bar of the platform. So I put a little note out there about 20 minutes before we start. It's every day. Once you sign up, you'll have the link emailed to you. Great question.
Yeah, and if you don't have Benzinga Pro, like always, team, if you guys haven't tried your 2-week trial, you don't even need a credit card. Check it out. You can be part of the happy hour. Find out why there's so many traders there with my man Ryan.
Jesse saying, so dumb question, can money be made from the Super Bowl coming up? Yes, you 100%. Can. You could be a part of the team that is selling advertising space. They pay a fortune for that. If you're not, though, you can always bet on the game. For example, one of my favorite bets that everyone talks about every single year is, what color is the Gatorade going to be dumped on the winning head coach? I can't really give you any tips for actually betting this, but yes, the Super Bowl, you can make money off of that. I'm being a little facetious because I know you're asking about stocks. One of the things that I'm going to be watching, Jesse, is how stocks like DraftKings actually perform around this. I'm skeptical of the relation to some of these big events. I know we talked about DraftKings not last year, maybe the year before, right before the NFL season started, and it was nothing but down. From there, nothing but down. So I'm a little skeptical of those relations in terms of actual stocks. Maybe there will be some advertisement that goes viral. That if that is a public company or somehow related to a public company, that might be a trading opportunity. But at that point, your guess is as good as mine. By the way, here on the SPY, moving right back up to balance, pushing higher here. Bitcoin doing the same thing. Apple new highs. Congratulations. Who was that trading Apple out here? David. I'm not David Placeris. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Your dog is adorable. Congratulations on your great Apple trade there. Absolutely love it. Here we go. So, okay, I'll give you my little secret. You want to know my little secret to making some money on Sports Sundays? You talk to Rippin' DT over here. He's got his line on these games. Philly minus 1.5 points over 50 is the bet. I'm with you on that. I'll take Philly minus 1.5, and I think this is going to be an offensive game. So I like that over total as well. Nice to see you here, Dan. Happy Friday.
If you want to know Super Bowl winners, I ain't too bad on them. But the Eagles going to take it this one. And did you know that the Eagles were actually the least favored when it was in the championship?
Yeah, the thing that's impressive to me about the Eagles is Jalen Hurts. We don't even know how healthy he actually is, and they have 2 blowout playoff wins. So Eagles looking really strong. The only thing that gives me pause, does anyone out there in the chat know what Jim Cramer said about the upcoming Super Bowl? I don't. I'm asking honestly out of ignorance. I'm sure he's rooting for Philadelphia, but has he given any predictions? Does the inverse Cramer apply to the Super Bowl here? That's what I want to know.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. I think he doesn't have that effect on the Eagles like he would have on the stocks, but that's what I would think. One thing that I would say is I did hesitate there on Meta. You guys were watching my chart. I literally had it up probably the whole time there. I hesitated. I wanted to buy 191.50s. I like to tell you guys when I hesitate because the truth is, even me that have been in trading for 6 years, sometimes it happens, right? I started seeing everything go up, and I wanted to buy Meta there. What do I mean by that? I started seeing Amazon start going up. I started seeing Apple push higher, right? I started seeing the SPY on the left push higher. And I thought, Meta here, 191.50s, I got to be quick if I want it. But that's just how quickly you have to determine sometimes and take levels based off of more of an objective approach versus if I need to get in or if I like Meta. I was thinking a little bit too much that, I really don't like Meta overall. And that can come really quickly into your decision making and cause hesitation. SPY overall, it's just kind of stair-stepping up, team. I don't think that we're going to get the biggest breakouts to the upside today, but we could just stair-step and keep stair-stepping up. Ford coming back to the VWAP, if you're looking at something that is by the VWAP, but of course Ford had bad earnings, so we don't know if it's going to bounce there. Just keeping an eye on it. Tesla now up toward the 198.30s, almost 190. I did click 199, 199 right on the dot. So glad I didn't get short on that one, Ryan.
Yeah.
Don't step in front of it. Don't step in front of it. Wait for it to come back down, right? Wait for it to break. Then I look to get short on it. Lucid pushing, Sam. Take a look. I know Lucid was getting a nice little day earlier. Not bad, right? Not bad. I don't think it's really squeezing as much as we thought it would, but the daily chart's still holding strong, right? You see that bottoming around 1175. So we'll see what happens there on Lucid. What are you saying?
Sorry for running you over there, but my entire unusual option activity calendar right there filled with blocks of Tesla calls. So Tesla, as it approaches 200 today, we are up, 5.5%, just an absolute power move here on Tesla. Seeing a ton of calls coming in, varying strikes, the 200 being the most populated one here, but lots of calls coming in here. Someone even buying some really out of the money calls for next year.
Oh, that's making me want to short, Ryan. It makes me want to short, but that just goes to show you how the psychological effects, right? That's how it is. Ryan Dietrich talking about strongest recession ever. I mean, one of the things that I don't like people that are just only bullish. That's my only problem with people that like just stay only on one side, though. That's the hard part. I have to take a lot of things with grain of salt if people only stay on one side. Same way that I tell you guys, if you guys see me overall bearish, call me out on it. That's what it's about too. I don't like anybody that's just one way in the market. I don't feel like just going one way works. Have I ever traded OTC stocks? Maybe like one or two.
Oh man, I've lost more. Yeah, I have.
Maybe like one or two.
My first couple accounts, I blew up trading OTC stocks. So I know Wis didn't ask me, but yeah. But yes, I have. I don't like them. I don't trade them anymore. That's for certain.
It's a good idea, Lisa Lee, giving us a method, right, of maybe looking for turnaround momentum on Tesla, right? So
love it.
Tesla here, I'll put it in the middle so you guys can see kind of what she's referring to. I have my volume over it, so just give me 1 second. I want to try to take the volume and move it here so it doesn't really kind of bother us. Let's insert it here. Boom. Now I can make the volume down small and I can make this MACD really big. So the MACD, a lot of times it's a good momentum indicator, right? So let's go to the 5-minute here. So the dark blue line expanding to the upside is what you want to kind of be looking for if you're going to see that continued momentum, right? The breakdown really a lot of the times is back through the 0 line. That 0 line is the line in between here that you'll see. Right now we're at about 2.3 on the MACD to the upside. What does that show us? So that shows us the relationship between the 12 and the 26 moving averages. So it uses the 9 as a trigger in between that. So if the 12 and the 26 are continuing to expand and go to the upside, you'll see that blue line continue pushing higher. Now, when you see that dark blue line cross back towards the light blue line, that's when you want to start seeing that the momentum turns around. And really where I like it is when it crosses back through the 0 line. That's really showing the breakdown of the momentum. Daily chart, you can see it here. Look how this is taken off. Just a straight takeoff line. We'll see if it ever starts crossing back to the downside. 5 and 15 minute. We'll see what happens there. It's been strong, stayed strong on Tesla.
Mitch, are you finally bullish?
Not yet. We haven't reached the 420, Beans.
Oh, that's perfect.
Not yet, Beans. I try to stick to what I say, man. We say what we do and do what we say, right?
That's funny. That's funny. AI continue to push highs. Andy, if you're still around, Mighty Soldiers, if you're still around, what do you see on AI here? Are you looking to still play this as a regression to the mean? I would think at this point we were so extended, you gotta be.
AI is just insane. There's Tesla starting to turn around. Do I have the balls to do it? No, I don't. I don't, team. I don't.
Well, at least you're being honest with yourself.
Gotta admit it, bro. Gotta know what you are, right?
So, Walter, this is another thing. Okay, so man, you guys are really hitting it out of the park today. Walter, this was another topic that we actually discussed earlier this week on Happy Hour. We're discussing how we really haven't seen that huge capitulation event. And that's really what we need here to feel like we've either bottomed or before we can kind of turn bullish. So great to hear you Great to hear you say the same thing here this morning. I don't know if I can go bullish until we have that capitulation event. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to.
We'll see. We'll see. Try to be patient. Wait for a solid pullback. I agree with that.
I agree with that too. Good discipline, Andy, as always.
Patience. Patience is what pays, young grasshoppers.
That's why we say patience is spelled with a P-A-Y.
Let's go. And also why you don't fight the tape, right? That XOM continuing a little higher right now. And glad I got out of that one because be losing more. And I think it's an important thing, right? We'll look to see if we get a turnaround eventually, but SPY's been strong too. Meta tried to get back up there. Apple keep pushing higher, higher, and higher. From here on out, Apple's in a bull market as long as it stays above 150. You see Apple above 150, it's as strong as can be. There's no reason why Apple can't just go back to 200. And that gives me a little bit of concern for the overall market continuing higher because Apple's chart overall does not look bearish, does not look like a Microsoft chart, does not look like an Amazon chart, does not look like a Google chart. Apple's actually remained strong through this. Never really truly broke down, at least in my eyes. We went down there to 126 and made a V bottom. You don't see many V bottoms, right? So you can see this on the right-hand side. I'll make it big so you guys can see it. Look how Apple essentially went back, broke the long-term trend line, but then gave you a V bottom on that level. That's strength there. That one's not the one that I want to be fighting too much, even though as bearish as I am on Apple, and I think that the brand overall has gotten to a point where it doesn't have the strength that it used to, but it's still remaining strong, and buyers want it. They want it, team. And they held this 145 little kind of crack back through. It didn't go back to 140. That shows me strength. Even though the earnings were really atrocious. Atrocious is the word. Every single segment, North America, Europe, and China, sales down year over year. That's not what you want to be seeing, right? I mean, they're making less money than last year. in every segment, not like one. And they also stated negatives for iPad and kind of IMAX. We'll see what happens, though. You don't want to fight the tape. The tape says it's still going higher right now. SPY overall, trying to come back. Meta turned around, went right back down, team. We'll see if this is an opportunity or not.
Edible Gardens here. So this is interesting. Let me give you a thesis here. I have no position. Oh, come on. All right. So edibles down 41% here today. Remember, we had that offering, which really sunk it. Edible Garden shares are trading lower if the company priced an upsized $10.2 million underwritten public offering. See, we were at about $8.50. We're at 4.8 here today. Taking a look at the actual offering itself here. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. A public offering of 1.6 million units. Each unit consists of one share of stock and one warrant. So the offering for the units here was $630. You have the price of the stock at $486, considerably under the unit price. Let's check the warrant and see how much the warrant is. Warrant is only 7 cents. So to me, this bears worth watching. I'm not saying it's a buy right here, but this bears worth watching because we got a price on edible at 480 something, and the warrants are only 7 cents. That puts us at 490. The offering price was 630. So we are under that by more than $1.50. Something to keep on radar here. It might be an opportunity in this name. I wouldn't trade the warrant, by the way. I would just trade the stock. Carmen, shout out to you. You were the one that put this on my radar here, just kind of checking out that offering here. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a bounce here on this one, folks. Maybe wait for that 5. Maybe a cross above 5 here puts us into the gap. Just something to keep on the back burner.
On the burner, right? Don't let the coffee burn, though.
Oh, definitely not. There's nothing worse than burnt coffee. It is just an awful taste.
Yeah, it's gross, man.
It's so gross. I mean, really good coffee, like fresh coffee, that's delicious. But man, burnt coffee, it's just not good. Reminds me of Starbucks. Sorry, probably too soon.
It's all good.
They roast their beans. It's just me being a coffee snob.
That's what they like, man, I guess. Because they keep buying it up, I'll tell you that much. All right, let's take a look here. To trying to take a look at some of the stocks that are making moves here on the day. I have a scanner that I'm running through here. These are S&P 500 stocks, so going to be a little bit more high price or mid cap stocks. So just keep your eyes on these. We'll see what happens. I'm just rolling through some names, right? A and B, kind of hanging in there. 89 seemed like resistance, right? But it's just kind of slowly stair-stepping. EMPH trying to fill that gap from the previous day. We'll see if it can fill that gap. American Express.
Brian's comment, Death Wish coffee is awesome if you've never tried it. Oh, okay, now I understand what you're saying. I have never tried Death Wish. Where can I get it? I am a coffee snob. I would love to try that. Where can I get it? I'll look it up. But if you have the inside track, let me know.
AXP, really interesting. We'll see what happens there. It's starting to kind of push back there and hang in there. Look for other stocks that kind of do well too, right? COF, maybe that does well there. So keep your eyes on that. We'll see what happens on that name, if it can continue trading higher. Also, what is it? DFS, Discover. Those look good right now. If you're looking for stocks that I think are strong right now, those are definitely strong and holding their momentum. All right, let me get back towards the top of this chart. That's back where we were at. AXP, you guys see Dover here. Tesla, right? Come in, staying here, 197. Look to see if it gets to that 200 today. SEDG, kind of going sideways. This pool had just been ripping. I'm surprised my man Jason Raznick hasn't come out of the bear cave and started talking about pool. You need to get him on, Ryan. He likes this one.
I'm not familiar with this one. You seem to have more context than I do, but let's get him on. Every time he pops on here, he gives us something great. So I would love that if he hopped on again.
Last time he talked about HubSpot.
Yep, I remember.
Look at my boy. He's trying to help you guys out when he comes on. Got to catch him. Jason, if you're out there listening, we need you to come out the cave. Come on live
Jason,
trading.
You do such a good job breaking down barriers for your teammates. Come break down some barriers for our community as well.
Let's do it. I always say, I keep those on watch for him. Pool is an interesting one he likes, right? We'll see if that can continue, right? It's been strong. Sherwin Williams, not really a stock that I really look at too often. MAS, Mazico here, GM, continuing the strength on the day. If you're looking at that one, that's interesting how that one stayed strong. Look at the 5 minute on here, just going like has its nice resistance above towards the 42. Look to see if that can continue making moves. Para's up to 25. Man, this one had a nice little run there. See if this ever turns around. All right, there's some more there that I can run through. You guys have tickers, definitely throw them up. We'll get back to the action. Someone's talking about Amazon. I did see it start getting a little bit weak there. Did it finally break? No, it's just holding in here. Does this little wick to the downside? Still holding in. Could push up to the upside. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the SPY still fighting towards the upside. It seems like the bulls still have control completely. At least for right now, they still have it. Even though we got that downside action in the SPY earlier in the day, right?
Bulls definitely look like they're in control here today. No question.
Yep. And they're going to stay in control until they break that mentality. Right now, it's also the FOMO coming in, right? Our money managers now putting money to work. If they're putting money to work now, well, this market could stay up here. And this market is just laugh out loud. I would agree with that statement.
Oh, wow. So this Death Witch coffee has an extra kick of caffeine.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of more caffeine because I already use enough.
I'm not the biggest. Oh, are these Nespresso pods?
There you go. Yeah, Nespresso pods are actually really good.
I
don't know if you ever use an espresso machine. Oh, you use an espresso machine? There you go.
I have both. I have the Virtuo and the original.
Yeah, my dad has one too. He really likes those. He likes the cappuccinos they have and stuff like that. Their little cups. I'm just a classic Bustelo, really cheap coffee that's good. I'll stay on that.
I also enjoy French presses. I appreciate this. Thanks for the
God
here.
dang, Brian. What do you need, man? Brian, I love you, dude, but come on, 750 milligrams of caffeine.
That's a lot.
You're gonna grow another head there.
You're gonna grow another head.
I don't know what the hell is gonna happen there, man.
He's on fire today, NBA Jam style.
Kona coffee, I actually have some of that, David.
Yeah, that's good.
I got some sent to me from Hawaii.
Sabrina, I sold espresso for 9 years. Sabrina, hook me up with something. I love mine. I've spent more money than I want to admit at Nespresso.
You say something controversial when you get people to come out the woodworks. Not saying anything bad, but Marie, I haven't seen you talk often. She came quick with the heart attack in a cup. Yeah, 700 milligrams of caffeine.
Marie, are you a doctor or a healthcare professional? It looks like you have a doctor's coat on.
We need some help sometimes.
LOL. All right, PRP, 1 second.
No worries. I got this, team. We'll take a look around. Let's go through the sectors and industries. Let's do a little industry analysis, right? Energy continuing higher after having a really bad day yesterday. Starting to push back. Might have been early to that trade, right? We'll see what happens there. Technology still fighting in here. Let's go to the 5 minute. You guys can see how it bounced there. Still staying strong. I'm not in no means fighting that tape right now. Like NVIDIA, stronger. AMD, stronger. Intel, stronger, right? These are the names that were actually supposed to be weak. Intel gave horrible guidance. Microsoft gave bad guidance. They're staying strong. Don't fight the tape too much right now. That's true. COVID burned me out. I quit, said Marie. Well, guess what, Marie? I wish you the best on your next endeavor. Just keep pushing. Try to do whatever you can do, whether that be going back. You can always go back, right? I wish you the best. And if you were there for that COVID time and it did burn you out, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that you did all you could for us. And I know that you were pushing, especially a lot of people in the healthcare industry got burnt out during that time. So wish those people the best. And if we can help you keep pushing forward in your investment analysis and then also wealth, we're always here for you. Adobe. Well, that one stays strong. Salesforce has been so strong as of late. This one's continuing the strength. Looking to see if Salesforce turns around, but it's just super strong as of late. Thought that could really get Adobe going. It did in the last 2 days. We'll look to see if it catches the dips today. Technology, second leading sector up, right? Consumer electronics doing well there. Of course, Apple leads the way there. Sony not having a bad time. Really, Sony's at 94.60s. Man, wish I would have played this for kind of the seasonal effect. This one usually has a nice seasonal effect on Sony.
Wow, Marie, I missed this while I was gone. Nurse turned trader. COVID burned me out and I quit. Been trading since I quit, never going back. Love trading. Well, Marie, thanks for joining our community.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We hope to support your endeavor any way that we can. So,
yes, and cheap coffee all the way. All the way.
Mitch just had to slide that in there, right? He had to slide that in there right at the end.
No, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, in this inflationary environment, I love my coffee for Bustellos. And if for you guys Bustelo fans out there, I go and I get my Bustellos from Sam's to make it even cheaper.
Pete's is what I drink. And they do the Nespresso pods at Costco to make it really, really affordable. So SPY sure looks like it is going to 420 here.
Yeah, Paul C., I agree with that statement that you're saying here. Everything that we've heard about the markets is not working the way they said. And I agree.
Yeah.
And this is how very easily the market could come and disconnect, which is the common knowledge. That's what I'm going to call it. Common knowledge is what we get a lot of times from books, right? And that kind of knowledge, that kind of thinking, if you went to school for the markets, that kind of thing. Well, right now, that seems not to make sense because what's going on, and I think that's really underneath the underworkings of the market right now, is the battle between the narratives. And the battle between the narratives is that, is this a soft landing or is this a hard landing? Are we going to get the jobs number to break? And that's where I think that there's a disconnect in the market. Some people still think that the soft landing is available. Some people think that the soft landing is not. And with that, that starts confusing whether if the jobs number that we got today is a good news number or is it a bad news number? That's where I'm starting to get confused there. I talked about it on pre-market prep that when the jobs number came in, I didn't know whether to say if it was a good news for the market or bad news, specifically because of that narrative that's out there right now. It's difficult. I'll tell you right now. I talk about with traders all the time, right? And I talk to economists all the time. And I can tell you right now, majority of their economists that I had, really smart ones, were telling me that recession was almost inevitable. And now you see it, right? Different outlooks. That just goes to show you they might know, but really nobody knows. I don't know. They don't know. The people on CNBC don't know. Fox Business.
I think we're in a recession.
Nobody knows.
I'm not. I don't listen. I'm not listening to the back and forth. Yeah, Jay, nice shout here. BBAI had right through that 425 level again. We see the pattern here yet again. Let me go ahead and see, Mitch. You clicked that time, and it took a while for it to get. It's got to be something going on. It's not something specific to my machine. Anyway,
yeah, it's not something to yours.
This pattern again, right? The push on volume. In fact, we told you the last time we saw this type of action. This is what we'd be waiting for again. Well, look what happened. We built right above that VWAP line. As soon as we got that expanding volume, we pushed away from this 405 level. Currently at 432 here. BBAI giving us multiple opportunities here today.
All right, we'll see what happens right now. I'm trying to be patient, team. I haven't even taken my second trade on the day, and the big thing for that is that there's no point in me trying to trade this and continuing if I don't see clearly, right? One that I am starting to see a little clearer, and if we're going to have a green day, well, it's just going to be all dependent also how this sets up. Look at Meta's setup now, right on the VWAP, right? I think a lot of people are looking at this trade. Will this come back towards 197, 195, or will it start to break down? I think it's all about what you see out there. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see if it starts pushing or not. Meta. SPY going higher. Can that drive the meta through towards the 195? It's not a bad outlook there. We'll look to see if it gets up there. Maybe get one more cut down and then a turnaround. We'll see. Baidu in the red. Remember I talked about how I was looking to see if China was going to lead the way down. One of the ones that I was looking to short was Baba yesterday, but I was really worried about the 3 big reports coming in. So 110 level seems to be acting as resistance now. We'll see what happens on that one. If it can start crashing down, I think that's when we start seeing the markets lead down. When China market lead down, it led the way up. So I'm going to look for those markets to kind of lead the way down. And then that's when I can look to see some more crashing. What was that? ELF. ELF still continuing. Nice little pullback to the VWAP there on ELF.
So let me cover the ELF potential floating island here, but then I got a jet for the day here, Mitch.
Sounds good. So what we'll do is, can you do me a favor? So when you're talking about that ELF, can you make the chart full screen? Boom. There you guys see it. So we're going to get into ELF here, and we're going to break down one of Ryan's favorite trades, which is, of course, the floating island. Does it mean it's going to happen 100% on ELF? Of course not, right? But that's what we're going to do. Our strategy breakdown of the day.
Okay.
All right, Ryan, lead us through the floating island. Oh, you put yourself on mute, I think. The good old mute button. Wonder what happened there. Good old mute button on StreamYard. Wanted to pull the rug on Ryan. I tried to set him up and everything. I put the graphics together. It happens, though. I don't know what's going on. He's still on mute. Can you maybe back out, come back in? Yeah, he's going to back out and come back in. I don't know what happened there. He'll set us up in a second. Sorry about that, team. All right, just keeping an eye on the stocks. Nobody is buying puts on Apple yet. Nobody's buying
I was
puts.
not on mute. Can you hear me?
Now you're not on mute.
Okay, Mitch, I don't think I'm going to be able to go to full screen. I'm sorry, my man. I'll go to my chart tool here, which takes up more of my Benzinga Pro. Let me go ahead and reshare. Something is definitely going on. I'm sorry. There's
not a worries, my friend.
All right, let's go ahead and check out ELF here. I'm going to run this down here for you. Okay, so ELF is actually a really good example because we actually broke into a new high. Sometimes you'll see this same formation, and if you look to the left, the price was there at one point in the past. That might still work, but this is an even better situation when you get into new territory here. So we had an event here that popped and created this candle here, and this is the start of the island. So what I would like to see on these, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated with how this stuff is working. What I would really like to see here is I want to see a back test of some of these levels. So after the first candle is created right here, okay, after this one, this red candle that looks like a hammer, after this is created here, we want to go ahead and mark off 2 points on this candle. All right, we're going to mark off the bottom and the top. Now, in an ideal situation, what we would love to see is we'd love to see the price come back in towards the bottom and then curl back up towards the top. And the reason we want to see this is because what it's doing is it's testing the new price range that it just popped into. So if we end up trading back and then you hold the bottom end of this candle, that is a great sign, especially if it starts to curl back up to the top. Then what you're hoping for is a break of the top of the candle and a continued move over several days. So this is an ideal setup for a swing trade. This would not be a day trade, so size accordingly. In this case, we actually did not back test the end of this wick. Instead, we back tested the bottom of the candle. We had a really strong day here today. Stock continues to trade with it. So a potential way to trade this would be as you break the top of the candle. Again, you can take a position to kind of swing that. You're hoping that this trades up towards the 75 handle over the next couple of days. Keep in mind that if you're going to buy the break at the top of this candle, you might still go through a back test So have your risk management accordingly. The ideal situation is that this comes in, tests the bottom of the range, and then reverses. That is the movement that you want to capture. It's one of my favorite formations, and I would see the resolution to the upside happens more often than not. So just something to keep in mind here. ELF now crossing that $70 handle.
All right, didn't want to interrupt there. I took a trade on that meta setup right there. So what I did was more like a little bit of a scalp, tried to get a little bit of the momentum back up, went 92.14 on the entry, took some out right there immediately at 92.56. Was just looking for the quick move there to at least get some of the momentum trade. Now what I can do is I can let the rest of it break even. Does it want to get towards 195? I can let those small little shares now work towards 195. I sold majority of the move already. It was really quick, team. I didn't want to be like kind of just telling you guys in, out. And so literally interrupting Ryan there, but was able to at least get myself really close to break even with those shares. Now this trade can either make my day or it will bring me right back towards what? Break even on the day. Setting probability in my favor, and we'll see what happens.
Sabrina, the time frame was the daily. We observe that formation on the daily. Mitch, it was a great week. I got to get rolling here. We will be back next week. I will be here Monday and Tuesday before I head down to Arizona. So have a great one. Have a great weekend. Stay green, stay safe. We'll see you next week.
All right, team. We're already getting a little bit of a pop here towards 193s. Can look for that to continue going in meta, but really will not let this get back towards my break even and get me into red. Entry is 192.14. I can't let it go back down towards the VWAP. That would stop me out. Just got to be really quickly here and smart. Just got to watch. Sorry, team. Just a little focused here. I'll bring up my charts in a second. All right, coming back towards it. It's a little bit of a quicker trade, so I wanted to really focus in here. And like always, team, smash the like if you guys enjoyed today's action. I can see we had over 600 of you guys in here. Really enjoyed it. We'll see what happens. And Ryan will enjoy it too. You guys, he has to go get to his day job just like always. We do other things here at Benzinga, so definitely smash the like. Look at that pullback really quickly. Stop me out on that pullback there. So there you guys see it. I lost about a penny on the shares now with the little slippage. That's not too bad though. It pulled back, stopped me out. That's why I wanted to take the quick profits. At least what am I on the day? I'm just the tiniest bit into the red, and then I can look for any trade to get me back into the green. Can still kind of battle on the day, but I also don't want to be battling too much with these action. Look how the SPY just kind of turned back around too. That's why I'm going to be trying to be quick to the tooth on long trades. And then, of course, maybe setting up a longer term short if that can happen. All right. I thought you guys were retired and just traded. I really wish, David. I really wish. The truth is we work for Benzinga and we do things. You guys see me do the shows. I control a lot of what happens on the YouTube side, at least from our stock market approach side. And then Ryan holds down, of course, Benzinga Pro, really. So if you guys ever have any questions on Benzinga Pro or how to best use Benzinga Pro, definitely reach out to Ryan. He's going to be the best one there, and he'll go through it with you. He has no problem walking you through it. Fuzzy screen, Daisy V. Can't hear Ryan and the screen gets fuzzy. Well, I'll try to pay attention to that. I don't know if it's maybe his browser. I mean, we run this through kind of Chrome, so I don't know if maybe his browser was giving us issues. We'll always do our best to try to improve things. Sound and screen is fine now. Yeah, it could have just been Ryan's. And I could see that and Ryan has faster internet than me. So just to kind of put it in perspective, team. It's not like I have better internet or something. All right, well, Meta stopped me out on that pullback. Could continue higher, right? I'm not going to fight it because if it went down back towards that VWAP, I would lose all the money I just got back, right, from that first XOM loss. So we'll see what happens there. Also, XOM kind of topping around the 114. I might have been early to it around the 113s. So one way that I could do it if I wanted to just day trade the momentum down would be to kind of maybe get the drip, right? Drip back up or gush to the downside. Maybe I'm looking at Chevron or some of these other names. You can see how they're starting to come back below the VWAP. That's what makes me feel like this will eventually break down. but not going to chase it here, right? Going to let it break back down between 113s, and I could be swing low again on Exxon, but I'm going to be smart, just taking it easy right now, not trying to jump to the trade. SPY overall kind of topped out around the 417s again. Let's go to the hourly chart, see what we're seeing here. I know this is supposed to be closer towards 420s. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really kind of bring it up there towards the 420 area. That's going to be where I get a little bit more bullish. But for right now, let's focus on the price action that we do see. Price action I do see here is a nice little pullback on the hourly, still staying strong, right? Until this really breaks down, that's a move back down between 410s. The market will stay in a bullish tune for me. Right now, I say, there's not much that I want to trade to the downside. If there is, it's utilities, it's communication services. Even then, and not too much on the communication services, more utilities and the oil trade coming back down. But as you can see, energy is actually leading the day. So you got to be careful there. A lot of that is going to be that WTI up big on the day. It went to 77.90s and still kind of spiking since this morning, especially around the 9:30 time. We started seeing more of a spike there in crude. We'll look to see if we get back above 80s. I really want to see this get to 60s. If that does happen, yeah, we'll get that oil down move. If oil comes back towards 100, oil can continue higher. All right, I hope you guys enjoy all the action that we do here on Benzinga. We're going to keep going. There is no Benzinga Live that's going to be next. I'm going to start wrapping up the day. Like always, if you guys want to see some more live trading right here on Benzinga, I need you guys in the chat to go ahead, hit up shows@benzinga.com. Let us know that you guys want to see more live trading. If that's what you guys want us to do all day, we'll get it done. We are here for you guys, team. We're not here for myself. I'm not here for Ryan. We're here for you out there. So if you guys want to see some more live trading, hit us up. I want to see more feedback. Telling Benzinga we want live trading. So it doesn't only come from me, right? I've been letting them know. That's how we got to live trading on Fridays, right? Well, if you guys want to see even longer streams, let us know. I want to know what you guys want. And at the end of the day, I could take a look at different outlooks, it can go into experts, can go into ETFs, but really we do this for you guys out there. So if it's live trading that you want to see, continue doing it. All right, you guys hit up that email, and I will see you guys, of course, this weekend for Trading in the Zone. Don't miss it, team. If you guys want to continue building on your skills, a good way is our book club. Our book club going through psychological outlooks, right, in trading. We'll also be going through some pattern looks. We'll go through maybe even the Anchored VWAP book from Brian Shannon. Whatever you guys want to learn or whatever books you guys want to get into, we'll definitely push the levels in our financial book club. Hope you guys are already a part of that, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Up next, no Benzinga Live. I will be back on Stock Market Movers, getting ready for a big interview on that. That's going to start at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I get a lot out of these live trading sessions. Smash the like. Appreciate you, Ryan. And Paul C., when is that? Well, the book club is this Sunday. So if you guys want to join that, that's going to be this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll give out that link one more time here. I know I've put it up a million times. And for those that are already a part, just kind of ignore it. But it's really only about trying to keep building up and joining together to grow our skills. I'll see you next time, team. Let's take a quick little peek back into the overall market. Levels to watch on the day, right? On the hourly are very important. I always like hourly levels. 418 to the upside. That could get us to the 420s. Breakdown is really back down through 410s. We're far from that. I don't see that happening today. But then again, things can always change in this style of market, right? SPY starting to come down. Will we come back down all the way through 410? Find out and catch me on Stock Market Movers, 1 p.m. Eastern. I definitely will review this action. And if we do, get a turnaround. See you there, team.
Check.